Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Alpha Omega Occasionally. On this occasion you find me in my YouTube I sound like a Thai, you know. Use, that's the way they speak. You find me in my YouTube studio, and I'm preparing a video for the Big Picture El Panorama. That's my other channel with 123,000 subscribers. Thanks very much, each and every one of you, and each and every one of you here on this channel, Alpha Omega Occasionally. We're up to about 4,000, nearly at 4,000 subscribers, and I really appreciate that too. While I was doing this, basically what I do, I do all my editing here on iMovie, and while I was doing it, a thought occurred to me. I met, I'm not going to mention names, but I met someone last night while I was in the course of making my video in Wigwam Night Market. A Thai who I got the impression wanted to be more like a Westerner. And it got me thinking, wannabes. I mean, there's wannabes everywhere. I mean, this is not unique to Thailand. This is just me talking about what I experience in Thailand. So it's not, I'm not singling out any particular person or people or whatever it may be. But I have noticed a heck of a lot of wannabes in Thailand. People, I'll give you an example of something that happened once. I was in Starbucks. If anyone knows the service area on the way to Pattaya from Bangkok, you got McDonald's and Burger King, all these restaurants you pull in on your way down there. We were in Starbucks and it was really busy. It was I think it was around Christmas time a few years back. And the Thais don't celebrate Christmas, but they do celebrate New Year's, and the New Year is a big deal here. It's equivalent to Christmas, let's say, in terms of holidays. But around that time anyway, we're in Starbucks, and my wife went up to get whatever we were ordering, and I didn't really notice. I noticed after the event a Thai woman with her son, and she called out to him. He was messing around or something, and she said, "Christopher!" but more audibly than was necessary. And I looked, and I caught her looking at me. And, well, I wouldn't say caught her looking, but she was looking at me as she was saying what she was saying, you see. And I said, I thought it was a bit strange, because calling the son Christopher, like, pretty louder than what would need be. I felt she was trying to draw attention to herself. And indeed she was. And not only draw attention to herself, but the reason for drawing attention to herself was she wanted to proclaim the fact that she was westernized. Her son, Thai, is called Christopher. By the way, he didn't look crun. That's what they say, half child. I hate that term. People say that to my son, half child, because he's half Thai, half foreigner. No, he was 100% Thai, and I think her husband was there too, but her whole family were with her. They're all Thai. So it wasn't a case of, like, my son is called Harry because obviously I'm from the West, so my wife asked what do you want to call him. But you see, that's a little bit of wannabe as well. My wife asked me what I wanted to call him. She didn't give him a Thai name. That didn't even enter into it. It's a case that, yeah, and the registrar or the registrar officer or whatever for the hospital when Harry was born came around with a few hours after he was born with the documentation on a clipboard, just taking the details of the child, the parent's name, the blah blah blah, all this, that and the other, for his ID, you see, for his citizenship. And she said to my wife, "What's his name?" And she said, "Harry." "And what's his nickname?" And I said, "He doesn't have one," because all Thais have nicknames, and they take it for granted you have a nickname, but he doesn't have a nickname. It's just Harry. But my wife asked, or the registrar asked my wife, "What is the surname?" And she gave her family name, and the registrar looked around and said, "No." She looked at me, said, "He doesn't look like a so-and-so, their family name." And she said the child must have his father's name. That's a side note. That's a side note. So all children born in Thailand to mixed race parents, regardless of who they are, not just mixed race, all children born in Thailand have to take the family name of the father, whether or not your name is Murphy or blah blah blah. I don't no Thai surnames spring to mind at the moment, but you know what I mean. But the wannabe factor, even in that hospital, that was a private. I'm not going to mention it, the names, of course, but that's a private hospital, and it's very wannabe. I see lots and lots of Thais that are very westernized. Now, there's nothing wrong with it. You see, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's just I don't try to be Thai. My wife bought me a Thai shirt. You know, the Thai shirt for going to a wedding, the formal things with the collars and the short sleeves and the pockets here. I wouldn't wear it because I didn't want to look like the Farang trying to be, and I hate that term, it's a term of convenience. I didn't want to look like the foreigner trying to be Thai, because you make a fool of yourself if you try to be something that you're not. I mean, we all know that. There's the place where I live here. It's a gated community, if you will. It's got security and all that and the other. This, that and the other. It's not very plush. It's just a nice place to live. But the Thais that are here are all westernized. They're all westernized, and they're all very, very wannabe-ish. That's now again. I don't mean to sound derogatory, but there's a huge degree of wannabeism in Thailand. People behaving in a way that they're not necessarily. As my mother used to say, it's far from that you were reared. If you got ideas above your station, you see, because in Ireland they wouldn't let you away with it. You don't pretend to be what you're not, and I find that a lot of Thais, and this is not a criticism, it's an observation. A lot of Thais tend to try to portray a westernized persona. Especially when Westerners are around. And I suppose you could say imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. Well, probably is. But as I said from the outset, there's nothing wrong with it. But what do you think? Do you think, do you want to be more Thai? Do you mind if Thais want to be more westernized, or does it matter? In terms of me being more Thai, one of the reasons I don't speak Thai very well, by the way, is because I speak English. And as anybody knows, that if you speak English, you don't have to speak any other language really, because you can always get away with it. You probably won't be able to converse too well, but you'll always get away with it. And it makes you lazy. But sometimes when I'm pronouncing Thai words like Tam Nang, and you have to say Tam Nang, I feel like an imposter. I feel like I want to be. Because Thai is a tonal language, and you've got to learn the phonetics of Thai before you can even speak, because there's a lot more phonetic. The phonetics of Thai are a lot different to English. And they've got vowels that we never even heard of in terms of sound. So basically, one of the reasons I don't speak Thai too well is because I get embarrassed because I don't want to be considered a wannabe. And there you go. So, I don't know what you think, but I want to be a successful YouTuber. And if that's the case, I want you to click that like button, the share button, the subscribe button, do all those wonderful things. And I'll bring you back another wonderful video very soon. Thanks for joining me.